Good morning, everyone. This is Anthony P., your coach and contributor for the DFS Army. 10:25 on this beautiful September 13th, and chatting into our VIP Slack of our sports book. There's an opportunity for us to continue teaching some of our members, and I asked our buddy Bryce if he would like me to do a quick video on how I navigate Fangraph eye level. We've got 15 minutes here to do so. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to focus on one of the games that I personally like a lot, which is the Washington Nationals. Ross is pitching. Some people are reaching out asking, how do I go get and see their stats? Or what is the upside? And I think this is going to really help many of you. Again, this is eye level, but I think these basics are going to really help you a lot to be capable of start doing your own research and coming to your own conclusions and leveraging the model as much as you can for you to start, having higher ROIs when you're doing your pick selections, your own pick selections, or if you want to try and understand why we're recommending a specific game, there's always an angle. And this is what I want to try and accomplish throughout the service that we're offering at the TFS Army Beat the Bookie Sportsbook program. So let's jump right into the model really quickly. I want to focus on the Washington Nationals. There's approximately a 13-14% positive expected value on this game. The Nationals are underdogs of minus 150 plus 115, and our model is saying that the Washington Nationals should be favorite. And when we look at this, I don't like to look at games the night before. I don't like to start thinking about games the night before. I upload the data into our model. I start seeing what the model says, and then I start digging and looking. So sometimes I get really excited when I see a game with a high level, a high over, and then I look at the pitching matchups, and I'm like, shit, this is not as exciting as I thought. So we need to dig a little bit more. But most of the time, the model is right. So when we're looking at the Washington Nationals here, the first thing I wanted to do is see, who's pitching, and we've got Joe Ross and we've got Mike Montgomery pitching. There's absolutely no BVP on Montgomery against the Nationals, and we'll take a quick look on his Fangraph page and see if there is any appearance as a reliever. But we'll take a quick look at that. As I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, I know the Nationals are warming up. They're hot. They're 1-5 in a row. Chicago's having an issue. Chicago's having issues against righties. They're striking out a lot. They haven't been winning a lot of games. So this really piqued my interest, and the first thing that I usually go and see is, are my assumptions accurate in terms of how the team is playing, and I like to go see how they face against pitcher Hennis in the last 7, the last 14, the last 30 days, how they play at home versus how they play on the road. Look at their average and try and understand if they're going to be regressing because they're overperforming, or if they're going to be progressing because they are underperforming. So that's something that I'd like to see. So when we rover over to teams 2018, you get the screen. I like to click on splits leaderboard, and it gives you per player. I like to click on teams, update, advanced. I want to see WRC plus. I want to see WOBA. I want to see BABIP. I want to see ISO. I like to sort by WRC plus. If you guys don't know what this means, this is not the video where I will explain it to you. So you guys are going to have to do some digging and make sure you understand what this is. And then I like to go by Ennis. So Ross is a righty. And for 2018, we got Chicago as a middle of the pack team that is striking out 22%, but an ISO of 1.616. WRC plus of 100, which is the average. See how they're doing in the last 30 days. You'll see that they're under their average. They're striking out at 25%. Their BABIP is at point a little bit higher than what their average is, and their WRC plus is under their average. Let's go see if they're getting any better. 14 days. We will find them not too off from the 30-day average, but this sticks out a lot, 28%. They're not hitting the ball as hard, and they're not hitting the ball as much. Let's see how they're doing in the last 7 days. And it's regression mode, right? This team is not progressing over their average, which they were 10th. They keep on regressing in the last 7 days. They're 27% strikeout rate versus their 14-day average. So this hasn't changed. There's absolutely no power coming out. There's absolutely no hitting coming out of this team. Their average is at 214 against right-handed pitchers, and it does not look good for the Cub fans. If you want to get a little bit more in detail, you could sort this by away or home. So we could click on away and see how they've been doing in the last 7 days. Away, do we have something here? Here you go. So away, this is where they are. Very consistent from what we're seeing. Let's see how they've been in the last 14 days. And this is not from a DFS perspective here. I'm looking at this as a pure validating the plus expected value that we have on Washington, and see if I could convince myself not to go with this, with the expected value. So 14th in the last 14 days. Right. So this is where we are. This is what this is just one of the many steps that we take. We know that Chicago is not hot. We know that Washington is hot. And I want to confirm and say, okay, so these righties, we've seen in the last 30 days, we've seen where they are during the year, they're 10th. We saw where they are 30 days, last 30, last 14, last 7. The team is regressing towards their regression versus their mean. So what have they been facing? Superstar right-handed pitchers. Is that what's going on? I like to use covers a lot to get an idea. This gives you really clear snapshots of where this team has been going. The Cubs last 10. When we're looking at the pitchers that they've faced, Chacin, Schwarzer, Strasburg. Well, there's been some quality pitchers that they've been facing, but like we could see, they only have 4 wins in their last 10. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. They lost 2 out of their last 3 against Washington not too long ago. Now they're back in Washington, and what we've got here in Washington, we've got Washington beating Nola. We've got Washington hedging Hamels. These are pretty good pitchers, right? So we see team that's hot, team that's cold, team that doesn't do well versus right-handed pitchers in the last 30, 14, and 7, and they're going to be playing on the road. And we want to see, we've got minimum data on Montgomery. I've already went through this. We've got 7 minutes left for this video. There's not much on Montgomery that we could look at. So the best that we could do is to look at his game log, right? How has he been doing? Pitching 4 innings, 1 inning, 6 innings. Has not been giving up home runs. I think he is going to give up 1 today. Usually doesn't give up a lot of runs. Montgomery is a decent pitcher. Is a very decent pitcher, and but not someone who is going to blow up often. But he goes through stretches, and when I look at game logs, I like to see if any patterns are starting or finishing. And look, what we could see with Montgomery is, he's hot, 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 gets cold, well, cold. You know, we're going from 1 run a game to 4-3, 3-4, 1. Oh, is he getting better? And then we fall to 5. And then, you know, I'm not even looking here because these patterns, you could just see them. Good, good, bad, good. You know, and now we're going again to 4-2. What do we expect from Mike Montgomery? I think is a respectable performance. However, facing a really hot Washington team, getting plus 13% EV. We have them as favorites. They're underdogs. Makes me feel much better recommending this pick to you guys. Let's take a really quick look on how Washington's been doing against lefties because Mike Montgomery is a lefty. So teams 2018, splits leaderboard, sort by team, update, versus left-handed pitching, advanced, WRC plus. Where are the Nationals? 17th, strikes out at 22%. Not a lot of power. Middle of the pack, you know, a respectful WRC plus. Averages to a batting average of 247. Let's go see how they've been doing. So let's keep this in mind. You know, 17th ranked 17th for the 2018. Let's, oh, hang on, I didn't sort 2018, but it should be the same thing. Here we go. Let's see if they're regressing or progressing their last 30 days in their average. And the average of the rankings. However, the ISO went down and the WRC plus went down, and the batting average went down. Let's go see how they've been doing in the last 14. We should see this number go up. There you go. Their strikeout rate is lower, their average is higher, the power much higher. BABIP exactly where it's supposed to be. WRC plus, second hottest team against lefties. Plate appearances 92. Let's see how they've been doing in the last 7 days. Fourth. Will I move and look at Mike and look at Ross and see how he's been doing? Yes. We could see, you know, we could see what the expected Joe Ross's expected WOBA is going to be, and expected batting average and slugging average based on the current roster. We could see his strikeout rate, his WOBA average. This looks good. However, you know, we want to take a little bit more of a dive and see what Joe's been doing. And if you guys haven't been able to find a lot of information lately, you know, he spent some time in AA and AAA not too long ago. And if we go and look at his game logs, hasn't pitched in a while, right? As he is coming back from the minor leagues. So what can we expect from Ross? We know that the Cubs are striking out on a higher rate against lefties, so he gets a bump over here. Is he someone who's going to allow some home runs, guaranteed to almost win a game? But the Cubs are cold. So hopefully it stays to 1. I don't see a blow up over here from the Cubs. Is he going to give up 1 or 2 points or 3 points? Yes, he will. In a nutshell, I feel pretty good about going forward with the expected EV on the Washington Nationals. So this was a quick video, just to show you guys, you know, how we could go by into looking at a lot of information really quickly. This is on just one game. I hope this actually helps you guys. If there's anything, hit me up in the Slack chat group. Take care, guys.